not really hard. You could do this, but if you when you look into Knights Templar stuff, there's so much conspiracy theory that it's just almost just you just blow you away. I feel like if I did it for too long, I'd come out of there as a member of QAnon. I don't know why they just so I couldn't. You get like I grazed it because I just felt it just felt a little murky. But they were endorsed by the Roman Catholic Church. They were actually founded in Jerusalem, which I thought was pretty cool. They looked to be one of the first early military industrial complexes, and that's my words. They call it a different thing. Actually, they say it's like the first multinational corporation, but it's like I don't know, like Walmart doesn't have an army. I say this because though they were knights, only about 10% of them went to battle. The other 90% handled the affairs of the growing infrastructure of, that was Christianity. Well, because they had people all over the world, I guess is the best way to describe it, and that's why they call it multinational. And there's a good video on YouTube that I may link to on the Twitter page, and it's of a History Channel documentary where these guys go to Syria and they check out an old city that used to be run by the Knights Templar in the 1300s, where they actually, they had built like a fortress, not a castle, but like a fortress, where they were running that area of Syria. And it's wild because they're showing you 700-year-old like international historic monuments, or what should be historic monuments, and like the common people, like just regular dudes, are in there living, like clotheslines running through the windows, of what used to be like a Knights Templar fortress. It was weird. It was odd to me to see, but yeah. And the last one, which I had never heard of this guy, but evidently like other people have, El Cid. Let me see if I can get his name right real fast. Yeah, it's a Rodrigo Diaz de Vivar, and I don't know why that sounds like the kind of name. If you say it 5 times, he will come back. But he's considered like the best knight in Spanish history. He fought many battles. It's crazy. Well, just side note, it's crazy when they say these guys are the best knights. It's like it's always. I mean, it's the same thing saying like he was the best soldier. It's like, so you're just like remarkably well at taking people's lives. Is that not like a little chilling at like, I don't know, at like the bare bones aspect of that idea? It is to me, but whatever. He fought many battles throughout Spain, both for and against them, while they were living amongst the Moors, which of course was when Spain was inhabited by the Muslims, and Spanish people were fighting against the Muslims, and Christianity was growing during that time in that area. And there's a movie on Amazon Prime that just came out during the pandemic that actually looks like it tells his story pretty well, if you wanted to check that out. And that is how Knights happened. And now it's time for the roundup. And we're going to round it up. The first Knights come from France, depending on who you ask. They are needed to defend villages and monasteries from enemies. They are endorsed by the Roman Catholic Church, and a lot of countries in Europe have their own version, including Spain, France, Germany, and so on. The uniform goes from chainmail to steel-plated leather-backed armor right around the time as weapons get better. They fight a lot of battles throughout Europe and the Middle East in the name of Christianity. Technological advancements as well as the bulkiness of the knight make it obsolete, leading to the creation of the modern infantryman. Things I didn't know before, and now I know them. Never heard of these things. What are they? So I learned a lot looking up knights, and I guess I maybe expected it. I don't know if I would say expect. I knew I just didn't know a lot, but I didn't know there was this much to know. Let's put it that way. The first thing, we'll just hop right in. The horseback warfare as a whole is attributed to the creation, and this is less about the knight and more about just warfare, early warfare. Horseback warfare as a whole is attributed to the creation of the stirrup and its introduction into Europe in the 8th century. Prior to that, most wars were on foot. And so you wouldn't really even have the knight without horses. And it's like, you never really think about, really quick, how did horseback warfare happen? The stirrup. Like, when I read that, I was just like, because I was reading something that just said it so flippant, so quick. They're just like, yeah, the stirrup, it just created horseback warfare. And I was like, wait, what? Like, I have to go back and just see how that happened, and I did. It's pretty interesting. Let's see. I didn't know that the main, and this is, I guess, it's still up for debate. I kind of debated throughout the episode, is that the French kind of are the originators of the knight, and like I said, is because in It's because so many words that describe what a knight does are French. It just makes sense. Another thing, the third thing that I found out about that I did not know, and this makes so much sense when you look at just anything that had to do with the medieval times or anything during that. And I don't know if this was always true, but there was something called sumptuary law, and it was a medieval law that actually forbade like common people from spending too much money on their clothes, and it's so that they could easily identify who was rich and who was not. And like that's just wild. Like I thought, like you watch all those movies and you just assume those guys just didn't have enough money, and that's why they all look so crazy. It's like no, there were like literal laws that were like you can't look good. You better not come in here flossing because I'm gonna put you in jail. Like I know you got money, you know what I mean? Because I see what you're wearing, but you shouldn't be wearing that because you're not part of the crew. It's weird. Like when I saw that in a video, and I was just like, that's pretty crazy. Not as crazy as this next piece, which I guess throughout time there's always you can always find instances of men trying to make their penises look bigger. That's the thing. And then so some knights or noblemen would put large cod pieces over their crotches just to bump up that area and make it a place that you want to look. And like the best way that was described in the video that I watched was like there were not sports cars back then to to show you how much better you had it or how much cooler or how much more bigger your manhood was, so they had to literally just like paste on these huge like just flip like they're like not like actual like anatomical things, just making that area just fluffed up more, which seems crazy to have dudes walking around with just like fluffed crotches and just being like, yeah dude, and this is the last one, but this one it's not as crazy as what I just said, but it is interesting. Carousels, the merry-go-rounds that you see in carnivals and your local malls, they originated from a medieval like warfare practice, like where like guys were practicing how to go to war, how to ride horses and fight and stuff. And it originated in Turkey, and around the 1200s, and they would play a game where they would put these horses, these with legless horses, and these guys would ride them, and they'd go in a circle, and they would toss this clay ball that was like filled up with like perfume, and it was like to kind of get to test your dexterity, to make to get to hand-eye coordination and stuff like that. And if you missed like catching the ball, then it would splatter, and you would smell like whatever that perfume was, which I guess was like a bad thing until you washed it off. But that basically traveled throughout Europe, through all the different countries. And then when it got to France did kind of the same thing, but no balls of perfumed clay. They would just do different types of warfare, and it'd be the same legless horses going in a circle, being propelled either by people or by like cows or something like that. And they would practice like fighting on a horse while they were doing that. But that actual like that makeup, that blueprint is like literally what kids are riding today. And it's just it's wild the way things intersect when you really look back at them. Okay, this has been another episode of How Did That Happen? This was episode 17, so we are 17 episodes in. Loving the responses that I'm getting from the Twitter page. I think that I'm gonna probably expand to another social media platform here in the coming days and weeks. I haven't figured out what it's gonna be yet, but to just try to get some more people, some more ears to come and find out how things happen. But I appreciate anybody who presses play and listens and comes back week to week, or that this is your first week. Come along for the ride. I got more stuff in the tank, and we're gonna new episodes every Monday. You guys are figuring that out. I'm putting them out earlier now. Like I said, that's just for people like me and other people who like to get up in the morning. It's nice when I get up, because a lot of the podcasts that I follow, they put their episodes out later in the day, and it's like by then it's nothing wrong. Like I'm out and I'm awake, but it's like I'd like to maybe get going with something fresh. Why you gotta wait till 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock? No, to put out your podcast. But no shade. I'm just saying that's how I'm doing it, and it may change in the future. Who knows? But just thought I would put this in here, and let you guys know that I see the activity on the page, and thanks for anybody. Thank you. Like I said, be sure to like, rate, and subscribe. See you guys next week. Thanks for listening.